And welcome everyone. This is Race on Oz. It's Monday night. It's the PC League. My name's Nick, and I'm going to be taking you through probably the next couple of hours worth of sim racing. We've got round number 6, which is of season 3 for 2023, which is Spa. So very exciting. It's a circuit that really needs no introduction. But that's where we'll be tonight for a 100-minute enduro around here. In terms of where we were last week, so last time out in Budapest in the Hungaro ring, it was Max Ricker who put on a stunning display. He took out the win there, so fantastic effort from him. I think he led pretty much all of the way. He had fantastic pace throughout, put it on pole position. I think he got the fastest lap as well. And he obviously took home the race win. I think that's his first ever at Roos. So big congrats to Max Ricker, who is back tonight as well, and he's up the top of the timesheets once again for practice, which will be finishing up very, very shortly. Let's have a look at the standings as it sits come round number 6. So after 5 rounds, Terry Rayton is sitting atop of the table at the moment. Andrew Lawrenson has missed the last couple of races. He's been overseas, so that has changed the order a little bit, and we'll see very, very shortly that Terry Rayton will be sitting on top on 331 points. Paul Russell is sitting in second there on 316. James Pierre Reid in there in third. He had a third position last week. He had a second at the first round of the season. Sorry. Andrew Lawrenson, who's missed the last couple of races. Max Ricker, obviously with his win last week and his podium in the first round, puts him in 5th. James Mack having a really solid year. Hasn't finished below 10th position all season. Matt Frost in 7th. 8th is Peter Wall. Then Neil Fakeney, who's also having a really good year. He hasn't finished any lower than 9th so far this season in P9. And Nando Latenzio rounding out the top 10. Let's have a look at the silver standings. So that will be James Mack, who will end up on top there on 296 points. He'll be followed there by Peter Wall, sitting in second position there on 235. So a decent gap, 61 points, the difference between Mack and Wall for first and second in silver. Fakeney there in third. 4th is Mark Hurley. Chris Hildebrandt in 5th. Then it's Matthew Marsh, Dominiak, Peter Hatfield, Gabriel Ingersoll, who had his first race for the season last week, and also John Stockton as well, rounding out the top 10. In terms of the AM class, so we will get to that very, very shortly because I didn't write down what they are. But it's Herbitron leading the way from James Bridgens, who had the class victory last round, so that shot him up the leaderboard. Ben Doughton in 4th, just behind Wally Masterson in 3rd. Josh Nightingale and Simeon Cocco rounding out the top 6. But as you can see up the top there, it's Herbitron on 161 points. 144 is James Bridgens, and 126 is Wally Masterson, with Doughton only on the 1 point there. Nightingale on 14, and I think Simeon Cocco yet to open up the account for this season. Quickly duck over to the manufacturers standings as well. So we've got the manufacturers standings, the manufacturers championship. It is McLaren leading the way by 61 points over Porsche at the moment. So 632 points to 571. A little bit further back from them is the Audi team on 413 points. They're only 1 point ahead of Ferrari, who are in 4th at the moment. Aston Martin sitting there in 5th. Then it's Honda, BMW, Lamborghini, and Mercedes also yet to open up their account as well. Alright, let's go have a quick look at the circuit. It is the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. I think that's how you pronounce it. 20 turns, 7.04 kilometers in total length. Some really famous names there. You're starting with La Source, up through Eau Rouge into Radion, up the Kemmel Strait, all 770 meters of it. Lacombe, Bruxelles. You've got Pau on the double left-handed through there. Campus in turn 14, Stavelot in 15, and then you're coming out through 16 and 17, blasting through turn 18, which is Blanchimont, into the famous bus stop chicane, where I expect to see plenty of overtaking attempting this evening. So, Dean Carthy in there. Let's go Red Rebel Racing. Red Rebel Racing is everywhere right now. So, we do have some Red Rebel Racing entries. Andrew Lawrenson, he's back from his overseas trip. So, 2 minutes 16.530. So a Lawrenson there on top of the times, back in a very, very familiar position. And as you can see, we're about a minute away from getting this all up and running. So it'll be the 15-minute qualifying session, and then we will we'll get into the 100-minute race. It's Paul. It's going to be a Macathon. Yeah, they're just so OP here. Yep, g'day everyone. Yeah, so it is the McLarens right now sitting in the top 4. Positions 5 of the top 6, in fact, with Paul Russell's Porsche. They're just splitting them between 4th and 6th there. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye out for that. We'll see how that all pans out this evening. But, yeah, the McLaren tends to be the OP car around here and a lot of tracks at the moment. Sue Bennett, good evening. All right, here we go. Ooh, wasn't too sure of the nighttime conditions. All right, this is cool. All right, we've got to wait for someone to come out. This wasn't in the pre-race. There's been plenty of talk about weather, but there's been no talk about times. I seem to have missed that somehow. I have missed it. Yes, I have. So practice was at 8 o'clock at night Friday. So the race conditions will be at 8 o'clock, but in-game time, 8 o'clock. Friday will be the qualifying session, which is what's starting now, which is set at 11 o'clock. So how cool. It's a bit of night racing. We had some night racing on the weekend on the Ruse TV YouTube channel. We had the AAES round number 2 of their summer series at Kyalami, so which was pretty exciting, and it's already a rough start there for Paul Russell. Track is damp right now, so hence why you saw him sliding all over the place. So very, very challenging conditions right now that these drivers are facing with a damp track and nighttime conditions. Yeah, it's going to make for a very, very tricky 15 minutes of qualifying, setting the grid for round number 6 of the season. Ingersoll is come unstuck there as well, so we've already seen a couple of drivers. Mitch Hayes down there out in the Ferrari as well, but plenty of cars getting out on circuit. Chris Hildebrandt being one of them. He's Max Ricker. What happened, Max? So last week's race winner, where's that? That's Bruxelles by the looks of it. And he's just got to go around here. One great thing about, just at turn 11, Jackie X corner or no name, whichever you prefer. Alright, yeah, one of the cool things about night racing though is the illuminated cockpits and other neons that they have on the cars as well, which is going to be fun to watch. As I think Hildebrandt will be the first driver out there. Matt Frost. Found out tonight, Matt Frost is one of the longest tenured, has one of the highest amounts of events attended, does Matt Frost, in the 666 Honda, so very familiar 26. So yeah, good on him, little tidbit there. He, as well as, who else we got up there? Matt Frost, Neil Fakeney, Nando Latenzio. So 137 starts to Frost, Fakeney 134, and Latenzio 131, who also put in a good effort on the weekend. As Hildebrandt just getting a little bit out of shape there at Radion as he heads up the Kemmel Straight. He hasn't invalidated his lap, so these damp conditions proving to be quite tricky already in the opening stages of this one. I don't think I've ever done a race at Spa on ACC where they didn't make it rain. Yeah, so in terms of that, yeah, plenty of chat in the Discord over the last couple of days about rain. Ambient temperature is set to 21. It's track and air is matching right now at 16. Cloud is set at 0.22. Rain is set to 0.5. Weather randomness is set to 4 as we're watching Hildebrandt putting in the first time lap of the session. A 2 minutes 16.530 was the fastest time by Andrew Lawrenson in free practice. So we'll see how close Hildebrandt can get to that. As maybe Paul Russell's got a bit of an issue there as well at the top of Radion. Mark Hurley maybe also as well. We'll get back to Hildebrandt now. Making his way through Stavelot, the right-hander. Drifts the car out nice and wide to open up that apex. Carries much momentum through that corner, which has proven to be quite a challenge right now from Hildebrandt in these damp conditions. A little bit chilly as well, 16 degrees air and track right now, so not a lot of grip out there in the early stages of this one. Almost a third of our way through it basically at the moment, so something to just keep in mind. Music Racer just saying they need a real weather plug-in like rFactor 2. Yeah. Good to have you back as well, Adrian Rice, Music Racer, in the chat. Missed you last week. Alright, here is, so Hildebrandt's done a 2 minute 28. I don't think they're going to get really that close to what we saw in free practice because that was a dry circuit. Here's Wally Masterson. He's going to be the next cab off the rank. And Terry Rayton not far behind him. Matt Frost has gone to the top of the times in the early stages of this one. Terry Rayton pops through as well. Here's Peter Wall, so he's returning. He wasn't here last week, so he's making an appearance again after his class victory at Laguna Seca a couple of rounds ago. Here's James Bridgens, last week's AM class winner as well in that resplendent BMW, the 146. One of 3 AM drivers in the field this evening. Herbertron, our AM Championship leader, is one of them. Wally Masterson, who sits in third, and James Bridgens, who sits in second. So the top 3 are all here and present as we're not too far away from the halfway mark of this qualifying session. And so far, it's only 5 cars who've submitted a time so far, and the fastest of those times is Matt Frost at 27.512. A fair way off what we saw in terms of times in free practice. Track has gone to greasy. Air temperature and track temperature have not changed though, so they remain at 16. And Bridgen's just coming unstuck right at the very end of the lap there, so we'll have to go around again, and being that it's a 7 kilometre long circuit, that getting in some time lapse is going to be crucial compared to, say, Hungaroring last week, where much shorter, so you can give you the opportunity to do more laps, not so much around here as Hayes invalidates his lap, so he'll have to go again. Here's James Mack. He is looking to set his first time right now after last week's silver class victory at Hungaroring. He'll be looking to make it back to back. He's our championship leader right now on 296 points in the silver class. I was practicing for a very unsuccessful WEC race at Bahrain. Right. How big was the field though? How did you do compared to others as Mac sets a time 2:30 there? Here's Herbertron. Might get to Andrew Lawrenson first in the 444 McLaren. Currently sitting 4th in the championship after missing a couple of rounds. He was off in Japan, I think. What I could gather there. Track still greasy. Temperature hasn't changed either. So we're over the halfway mark of this one. And Lawrenson goes to the top of the time, so nice lap from him. 2:25.4, so that's pretty rapid given these conditions. Here's Gabriel Ingersoll, so he made his debut last season, a returning member of the Ruse community. He'd done 8 races prior to last week at the Hungaroring. I do apologise if I don't sound as enthusiastic as I normally am. As Ingersoll, he goes into P9. James Pierre Reid, he moves up into 7th. What about Mark Hurley's time? Starting to come through a little bit thicker and faster. I've had a big Hurley, he invalidates his lap. What about Max Ricker, last week's race winner? That was his 2nd podium for the season, a 3rd in round number 1. What can he do after taking out the race victory last week? He sat on pole position. He had the fastest lap of the race as well, and his pace could not be matched. It was 41 cars between hypercars and GT3, but I had a disconnection just after my first stop. Oh, that's rough. Disconnections is the bane of... It's the worst, isn't it? At least it was only after the first stop. Oh, first stop, not first lap. Yeah. As Ricker goes into 4th position. Who else is out there? Matt Frost. Oh, Terry Rayton. He's on a time lap right now. He's 8/10 up on his best time. Almost a full second now. That'll get him on, if not certainly super close to being in pole position in the early stages of this one. Only just misses out, just over a 10th. The difference between he and Andrew Lawrenson. Here's Matt Frost. Let's go to him before. Yeah, that sounds exciting though. 41 cars split between hypercars and GT3. I think that's what that Le Mans game that was going to come out. IndyCar has been postponed, and that Le Mans one looks like it might be destined to never make an appearance. Maybe. They sound like they're in a bit of trouble at the moment. Old Motorsport Games. There's Frost just making his way through the bus stop chicane to complete the lap. He improves, but he doesn't improve his position. Here's James Pierre Reid. First time we've seen him this evening. He moves up into P4, so nice result for him in the late stages of this qualifying session. Only 3 minutes left, so these guys will get 1 more, maybe 2 more laps at it to set the grid. Cars that have not set a time, one of them on screen right now, Mark Hurley, Latenzio, Bridgens, Hayes and Dominiak. Good to see we've got a bit more of a larger field as well this evening. 18 cars in total, so hopefully we have a good attrition rate and we can keep as many of them as possible throughout the race as Mark Hurley goes up into P number 10. Here's Max Ricker having another go at it. He is 7/10 up on his best time, which would move him up a couple of spots from his P5 so far. They'd probably get him into P3 by the looks of things, and it does. There we go, 2nd row of the grid for Max Ricker. Peter Wall is another one. He's 7/10 up, so track is still greasy. Air and track temperature haven't moved from 16 degrees. these guys starting to feel a little bit more comfortable, understanding the grip levels and what's out there. And time's just starting to tumble a little bit more as we're less than 2 minutes remaining in qualifying. This is round number 6 of the season, so officially starting the second half. We'll have a break next week, and then we'll get into the next set of 3. After that will be 4. After that will be on the downhill run. Ooh, coming through Blanchimont there, and he's just invalidated his lap, so that's no good for him. Oh, Pierre Reeves on a fast one right now, so this would get him pretty close to the front row of the grid. He's currently sitting P5, 1.6 seconds up on his best time. He could even be at the front of the field if this pace is able to hold on. He's got Paul Russell just up ahead of him. Paul Russell is on a time lap as well, so not going to have to worry about being held up by a slower car. Here we go. Pierre Reid, he goes to the top of the time. So P1 right now belonging to the Porsche driver with 40 seconds left. This, one of the cars out there, Mark Hurley. This might be the last chance for him. He is 1.2 seconds up on his best time. So he should be able to move up a spot or 2 based off that if he can hold that pace. 20 seconds left. So he'll get another crack at it if he wants. Where does he come out now? P10, so not bad. What about James Bridgens? He was up on his best time. He moves into P10. Popular little spot at the moment. Here's Chris Hildebrandt. We saw him at the start of the session. We're seeing him at the end of the session. Currently P12 right now. Where does he improve? He goes up into P7. Good work from Chris Hildebrandt. Here's Terry Rayton. He's currently sitting in P3. He's 7/10 up on his best time. That would be enough to get him on pole position by a fair margin as well. Andrew Lawrenson is in the pit, so he's chosen to watch this on as a spectator as the session wraps up. And Terry Rayton absolutely flying right now. Still got the wipers on. Tracks are greasy. I don't believe there's any rain out there. Not too sure as he makes his way through the fast sweeping left-hander of Blanchimont. Had to go down a gear there, just showing you the conditions aren't quite there just yet. He's 1.2 seconds up on his best time. He's going to absolutely smash this. He should take pole position with this time. And he does. A 1:24.435. So that's a ripping time from Terry Rayton. He's up provisional pole position sitter. Peter Wall, he moves up into 3rd. So it looks like it's a bit of a case of right time, right place. Track conditions are at optimum right now in terms of what's presented for them. Still classified officially as greasy. This is Neil Fakeney. He's half a second up on his best time. That'd be enough to just put him outside the top 5 right now in about P6. So Paul Russell's position might be under threat here as we go to 000. And that's it. He's not going to get a crack at it. So that is the field. So Terry Rayton, congratulations. He has taken pole position. Well done to him. With a, just a second, pole with a 2:24.435. So cracking time from Terry Rayton. He takes out pole position for the Enduro. We're about to start. Peter Wall was the highest of the silver drivers, so he's in some good form right now. Highest of the silver drivers and 3rd outright, so cracking result for him. And Wally Masterson for the AM division, he is 11th outright, and he's the leader of the class over Bridgens and Atron, who are occupying positions 12 and 14. All right, we've got 3 minutes left before we go to the session start, so we'll take a quick little break. I'll be back in about 2 minutes And we'll get set for round number 6, 100 minutes of Spa, starting very, very shortly. We'll see you soon. Alright, so we're less than 60 seconds away from getting this one started. So Terry Rayton took the fastest lap of qualifying to start in P1. James Pierre-Reid in the Porsche will be starting second. The first of the McLarens, P3, Peter Wall in the number 17 McLaren, and highest of the silver runners. Andrew Lawrenson there starting in fourth, and the third McLaren in a row, which will be P5. That's Max Ricker after taking home victory last week around Hungaroring. Paul Russell starting the race from P number 6, car number 6. So a little bit of synchronicity there. Chris Hildebrand in the 111 Aston Martin. He's going to start from 7th. Mitch Hayes will begin the race there from P8. Neil Fakeney is going to start from grid position number 9, and car number 9 in position 9. So there you go, 6 and 9. 666, Matt Frost will begin the race from 10th position. Wally Masterson, he'll begin the race in P11 in the Ferrari. In the BMW, one of the other AM drivers, James Bridgens, is going to start the race in P12. Mark Hurley, I don't know if he's got a new livery. I didn't see one in the folder, but maybe he's changed it, just haven't updated it. He's going to start from 13th. 14th, it's going to be Herbertron in the AM entry, 512 McLaren. Another McLaren, James Mack, is going to start the race here from 15th. Greg Ingersoll, after coming back last week, he'll begin the race in 16th. Daniel Latenzio, he put in a fantastic effort over the weekend in the AAES Round 2 Championship. He's up there in the championship as well. He's in 17th right now, and 18th, and rounding out the grid is Carlos Dominiak, as we can see the cars all making up, getting on the formation lap. Here we've got Kid Buyers League. Hey, let's do this. Here's your tip to everyone. Heather Russell, nice to see you there. Gorilla Snapper, rain in 30. Yes, I was going to say, yeah, rain is forecast for 30 minutes from now. Track is at fast. It's not an optimum. It is at fast. It's warmer than what we saw in qualifying, though. It's 19 degrees as opposed to 16 degrees. So that'll be a little bit nicer. In-game time is 8:10 p.m. So we will see possibly a little bit of darkness starting to descend as we get to the back end of this one. And I do believe this is the time multiplier of 1 from what I can tell. No pit stop constraints this week, as there mostly never is with these 100-minute enduros. It's always open slather for the strategy. As we're watching the cars make their way through Puon now. It is quite a long formation lap because they start on the GT grid, so they have to go all the way out of the bus stop into turn 1 La Source and then go down the hill. So Kid Bias, who are we thinking will win? That's a good question. I think if I was a betting man, I'd want to be hedging my bets. I'd probably say the 444, Andrew Lawrenson. He definitely has form, being a 2-time reigning defending champion right now. So, if I was a betting man, I'd probably place a little bit of cash on him. Maybe James Pierre Reid as well. Terry Rayton's been in some good form. Maybe even Peter Wall. That would be awesome. I wonder if he's ever won a race, Peter Wall. That would be interesting to find out. Let me see if I can find it in the old almanac. Where are you? I'm looking for Peter Wall. Peter Wall. There, it's Wally Masterson. Peter Wall. 11 seasons, championships 2. Silver seasons 3. Silver championships 2. There you go. Peter Wall. There we go. He's won a couple of silver championships. Peter Wall. 1 AM season. Best championship is 8th. Last championship 16. DNF's 8. So finishing ratio 0.905. There we go. So some bit of background on Peter Wall, who's going to be starting from 3rd position on the grid, the number 17. How was SAS, Heather? Was it a good episode tonight? I haven't been keeping along with it, I'm not going to lie. So I hope that was enjoyable, and I hope we've got some good racing. We've got a good grid. We've got 18 people on the grid. And, you'll have to excuse me if I'm not as enthusiastic as normal, but my brother got married yesterday. And, fair to say, it was quite a large evening, and I'm feeling a little bit worse for wear right now. So we'll get through the next hour and 40 minutes, and it'll be straight to bed for me. But I'm going to get this done. We'll have a nice little break after this. So here they go, down through La Source, now down the hill. As we watch them filter through. SAS is over. Gotcha. Here we go. So, scene of that infamous Belgium Grand Prix crash all those years ago. Hopefully we don't get anything like that. We've got green lights. And it's a good start from Terry Rayton, who's managed to get out in front there as they all filter up through Eau Rouge, up through Radion to the top there. And looks like everyone's managed to get through, which is phenomenal. But it looks like it's Terry Rayton leading from James Pierre Reid, Peter Wall, Andrew Lawrenson, jostling for positions. So is Max Ricker. They're going to come up to Lacombe for the first time this evening as well, as they all filter through. Plenty of jostling going on in the pack at the moment. Ingersoll's made up a couple of spots already as well. Lawrenson up into 4th, Hildebrandt 5th, dropping Max Ricker back to 6th. Hayes and Fakeney swapping spots too, but all 18 cars have managed to get through unscathed for the first part of this lap, and hopefully we keep it that way. But it's Terry Rayton leading the way. James Pierre Reid has already opened up a little bit of a gap on James Pierre Reid as Mitch Hayes looks to make a move. This is Neil Fakeney in that Ferrari, the updated livery Ferrari of his. This is a nice little pack going on here. Paul Russell, Ingersoll, Max Ricker in there. James Bridgens as well. Herbertron just behind them too. And here comes the rain. It's early. It's early rain. We will see. Did anyone predict it and decide to go out on wet tyres? I'm not too sure. I didn't get any intel on that. But on the forecast, Ingersoll runs wide there with Bridgens as they come out of Paul Ferrer. Turn number 16. This is going to be really interesting here to see. Did anyone start on wet tyres. See people making their way into the pits. Not Terry Rayton, he's all good. Hildebrandt, Peter Wall. Looks like he's the only one coming into the pits right now. Everyone else has elected to stay out. Ingersoll, I made a liar. Peter Wall, Ingersoll, Dominiak, Latenzio. So clearly those guys did not predict it. Now track is at greasy right now. You've probably got about 2 laps around here before it goes to proper wet conditions. So this is maximum risk going on right now if these drivers are on dry tyres, as this track will continue to get wetter because that forecast is for another 30 minutes at least of rain, as Lawrenson and Pierre Reid battling it out for third. Reid sliding that Porsche out of Lacombe there, down the hill, the right-hander of Bruzels. Lawrenson all over the back of the Porsche driver right now. They filter their way through turn 11. You can see Terry Rayton a little bit further up there, so that gives you an idea on the gap that he's already opened up. And Andrew Lawrenson just wrestling with that McLaren as he came out of turn 11, that back end, just wanting to step out as he put his foot down on the accelerator. Pierre Reid going to have to fend off a hard-charging Lawrenson right now. Track still greasy. 18 degrees air, 18 degrees track temperature, so they're identical to one another right now. And keep an eye on that track status. Once it goes to damp, then wet. So wet tyres are going to be the minimum they'll require. And Ingersoll, Latenzio and Dominiak, they're all still in there right now. So it's an extremely long, probably one of, if not the longest pit lane amongst the tracks in this game, because you've got to go through the Grand Prix pit lane and then down through the GT pit lane to get your car serviced, and it's a hike after that, as Lawrenson getting nice and aggressive there at the bus stop chicane. That McLaren once again just getting a little bit squeamish under acceleration. It looked like Hildebrandt was coming into the pits. Yeah, he is. Hayes is following him, as is Fakeney. So that would make me think that those guys definitely started on the dry tyre. As we get back to Lawrenson and Pierre Reid, if they've come out of the source, they're heading down the hill into Eau Rouge. They're going to go side by side, and Lawrenson, fully committed, gets the job done, and he moves up now into P2. So Andrew Lawrenson on the hunt right now. I'll keep an eye on top speeds, but get a few more laps under our belt. James Mack, what's happened, James Mack? I think he was just coming out of the pits. Yeah, so Hildebrandt's still in. He's just coming out now. Those guys that we saw in earlier, they're just coming out now. So that's Mark Hurley. So everyone did a good job of not to lose it in the tricky conditions. Track's at damp now, and Lawrenson will want to do his best now to pull away from Reid and hunt down that Audi of Terry Rayton, who took pole position. So he certainly got the pace. Last lap around a 26.132. So he's on the early pace right now in the very, very embryonic stages of this one. We're watching Matt Frost and James Mack. Silver driver Mack and a pro driver Frost in the 666. So making their way through that's campus here. So Masterson and Hurley both in there. Step away from that for a moment. Rayton's pulled a 1.4 second gap over Andrew Lawrenson. Reid's a further 1.6 seconds behind him. We'll get to Max Ricker because it looks like he's launching a bit of an attack on Paul Russell. So it's an Audi, McLaren, a couple of Porsches and a McLaren in the top 5. BMW and a Honda thrown in there amongst a couple of other McLarens as well. And Terry Rayton, he's coming into the pits, as is Andrew Lawrenson. So Pierre Reid has continued on. So did he start on the wet tyres? That would be a genius move from him. And he was one of the main people in the chat talking about running all sorts of simulations and hypothesis and all sorts of stuff. So maybe he's been all over it, and he's on the wet tyre. We'll see in the next lap or so. We'll definitely tell. More cars joining those other two that we saw. That's James Bridgens, it's Herbertron, and James Mack. So 3 Red Rebel Racing entries. So whoever was talking about Red Rebel Racing before, there you go. There's a bit of screen time for you right there. So Pierre Reid now leads this by 6 seconds. Max Rickers, who I wanted to have a look at here. So he's hunting down Paul Russell right now. Yeah, top speeds going 264 to the Porsche of James Pierre Reid, 260 to Paul Russell, and 264 to Max Ricker in the McLaren. So still early days in this one. We'll get a bit more of an idea once the track goes fully wet. Not quite there yet. It is damp, but you would expect it wouldn't be too far away, and that rain looks like it's forecast at least for the next 30 minutes or so. Oh, Russell runs wide there at Pouan. And that was enough to lose a position. Let's go on board with him. This might give us a bit more of a better idea. Ah, just that back end. The rears almost locking up, and then a bit of oversteer and ran deep, and away he went. So as we go back to the replay. So Bridgens, Mack, and Herbertron still just making their way out of the pits now. Andrew Lawrenson, so where it's all shaken out basically. Oh my goodness, there's lots of red on my screen. So down 6 spots, Andrew Lawrenson into 10th position. Hildebrand dropped a couple. Terry Rayton down 4. Peter Wall down 3. Now let's have a look what this man does. So James Pierre Reid, I think it's pretty safe to assume that he is on wet tyres, as would be Max Ricker, Paul Russell, and Matt Frost, the top 4 cars out there right now, because they're the only cars in the field that haven't pitted yet. So unless they have excellent car control, and they're happy to push it to the maximum risk, they'll either pit in another lap or so, or they'll continue on, which will confirm that they started on the wet tyre. Here's Hildebrand in the meantime. He's got Mitch Hayes tucked in behind him in the 176 Ferrari. These guys having a battle down there for 7th and 8th. Highest of the silver drivers right now is Peter Wall. So he started up in 3rd position, and he's dropped down. Oh no, James Pierre Reid! Where was that? Oh, that was out at Lacombe. There goes Max Ricker. Let's see if we can pick it up. Oh, has he just got on the... No, and then through here. Has he run a little bit wide? He has. And, yep. Oh, that's a decent old whack in the wall there too. So, yeah, he's going to have some damage from that. So maybe he doesn't have the wet tyres on, and he was pushing it to the maximum risk, and he's pushed it a little bit too far. He's now got Paul Russell tucked in behind him. He'll smell a bit of blood in the water here. He wants to have a crack at taking away P number 2 right now from James Pierre Reid. The other little pack we've got going on is Hildebrand, Hayes, Fakeney and Lawrenson down there in 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. These guys. Yeah, so it looks like Pierre Reid's managed to recover enough so far. Time will tell. Be interesting to see if he makes a pit stop on this trip around, as track's still at damp conditions. Neil Fakeney getting the move done on Hayes. A little bit further back. Let's see how that came about. Up the Kemmel Straight, down the inside. Gets the run on him. And he's able to go a little bit later on the brakes. And that's Andrew Lawrenson as well, who I think while we're watching this, we might see the beginning of him setting up Hayes for the overtake. There you can see it right there, the aftermath, as he is looking to make a move now on Fakeney down the inside of Pulwan, and he does it through the double left-hander. And then Fakeney's just going to have to do a little bit here to make sure that he doesn't lose two positions, one to Mitch Hayes as well. Back to a little scrap out in front here between Pierre Reid and Russell. Seeing Music Racer look for the tyre logos. Pretty sure the wets still don't have Pirelli tyre logos. Well, a good way of checking is we know that Ricker, Pierre Reid, Russell and Frost have not pitted yet. Rayton has. So we might see if we can get a close-up of Terry Rayton as Pierre Reid and Russell, a couple of Porsches scrapping it out for second and third. Oh, that's sad. You don't see a lot of moves made down there through Pulwan, but poor Russell has made that work. Let's have a look at that again, shall we? That was a pretty decent move, I thought. Had a good run on him out of turn 11. And then, yeah, just down the inside. All cool, calm, under control. And gets the job done. So, poor Russell has moved himself up into P2. And Pierre Reid drops back down into third there. Let's have a look at lap times as well. We'll stick with Russell because they're right towards the end of their lap. Last trip around, he did a 32.290. Max Ricker did a 29.937. So, Max Ricker, the pace is just phenomenal from this guy at the moment. Last week, and then he's carried that form over into this week. Let's see what lap time Russell does. 32.6, 35.3. So maybe there is a bit of damage that is affecting the handling for Pierre Reid right now. But I think it's fair to say that those guys... So this is wet tyres right there. So we know Terry Rayton has pitted for wets. And let's say Pierre Reid, yeah, it looks very, very similar. So I think that confirms our suspicions. Here's Lawrenson now just attaching himself to the rear of the 111 Aston Martin belonging to Chris Hildebrandt. This has been entertaining though so far. Good start. Got some good racing. Weather came right at the beginning, mixed it up straight away, and yeah, going well so far. Very, very early stages though in this one. As Lawrenson just looking to go up the inside at the bus stop chicane, he does. And he takes that position away from Hildebrandt. Now moves himself back up into 7th position after that early pit stop and qualifying in 4th spot on the grid. Who else is out there? This is Masterson and Hayes and Matanzio as well. Just having a look, flashing the nose there to Ingersoll as they filter their way around the source. Head back down the hill for another trip around. Max Ricker, his pace continues to exceed most people. Actually, I'll lie. So Ricker did a 2-minute 30.80. Drivers that were in the 30s, Matt Frost. So I can just See how this all eventuates here. That beautifully liveried Aston Martin. We'll get back to Frost and Pierre Reid. So last lap around, Pierre Reid did a 35.3 compared to Frost did a 30.9. Let's see what they do this trip. But I think that that little incident at Bruxelles is starting to affect the pace significantly of Pierre Reid, who just did a 34.2, which was 3 seconds faster than the Honda of Matt Frost, which is why he finds himself attached to the rear wing of that multicolored Porsche. They head down through the famous Eau Rouge. Can't take that absolutely flat like you can in the dry with these conditions. And looks like the rain is here. It's here to stay for a while by the looks of things, judging from the forecast. Track's still only damp though, so it hasn't gone fully wet, as Frost and Pierre Reid going side by side down the Kemmel Straight. And Pierre Reid manages to win that contest of the late breakers, and he remains in P3. But you'd have to think with that possibly wounded car that he has at the moment, how much longer he can keep Matt Frost behind him, as Mitch Hayes had a yellow flag next to his name, but James Bridgens does. It's a little excursion off the circuit. He's got Mark Hurley hassling him down there at this bus stop chicane, and Hurley puts the move on and gets it done. So Pierre Reid has had another little moment. That was Hurley up into 14th. Oh, what's happened here? Something's going on here. So coming out of turn 11, going down the hill towards Pouhon. And, yeah, a little tap from behind. And he's managed to do a pretty decent job of that and keep it facing the right way and redressing now. So the trusted driver panel look at all first lap incidents, which there were none of. And they do look very favourably upon people who redress, and these two guys here who've got a significant amount of experience racing here at Rouge and with each other managed to sort that out, no dramas. So just call play on that one. So 20 minutes in, yes, I was just getting to those times. So fastest cars out on track, lapping in the 28s. Terry Rayton at 28.1, 28.9 to Peter Waller, 28.5 to Hildebrandt. Lawrenson at 27.7, so 3 seconds faster than Max Ricker, who is our race leader right now by 4.5 seconds over Paul Russell. I hope we don't see track limit infringements coming into play around here. It's not necessarily a track that's particularly well known for it, but just hope we don't see that. Just watching Frost going through a Rouge there, people can often take some liberties. You see him hacksawing at the steering wheel there, just trying to keep that back end under control. Hard enough driving a Honda, let alone in these conditions. Last lap around, Reid a 38.3, a 38.7 to Frost, so the pace started to even out between the two. Music Racer just making the comment there in the chat, pretty brave to start on wets. They overheat so quickly on a dry track. Yeah, we had that a couple of weeks ago in the AAES round 1 at Zolder, where it was wet conditions, but the track and air temperature stayed significantly high though, so think it was around 26, 27 degrees air temperature and track temperature. And we saw punctures at the end because tyre pressures weren't quite right. And for that second stint that they had, yeah, I think we saw 2, maybe 3 punctures, which I'd never seen before ever happen. So that was a new one for me. But I think that was one of the characteristics after the latest update, that yeah, driving wet tyres on a semi-dry track not particularly great after that last update, as Reed and Frost follow each other through the source. Ricker Matt lap to 30.2, Russell at 30.5 that last lap. Brayton was a 28 dead on, and a 27.4 to Andrew Lawrenson as well, who's working his way up to the back of Peter Wall right now, the number 17 in P6. We'll just see the end of this as Matt Frost gets the job done, and he puts the Porsche of James Pierre Reid in the rearview mirror. Here's Lawrenson, McLaren on McLaren. So it's a McLaren in P1, 6 and 7. So it hasn't necessarily eventuated how we might have thought it would. And here goes Lawrenson in the tow of that beautifully turned out number 17 McLaren of Peter Wall, having a great season. Wasn't here last round. Took out the class victory at Laguna Seca, and now doing his utmost to keep Andrew Lawrenson behind him, which is no easy feat. As Lawrenson gets a nice tow, didn't pull out of the slipstream there. Bit of contact there, and luckily enough both drivers continue to remain facing the right way. Let's just go, I might go on board with Lawrenson here on the replay, and this is where it happened. Yeah, right, okay, so just wasn't expecting Wall to brake as much as he did, but all's well that ends well. I don't think there'd be too much damage you would get from that. Oh, Ingersoll on the other hand. Oh, that's out of turn 11. Let's see what happened here. Just get on the ripple strip on the exit. Yeah, he does, and loses enough grip and gives that Wall a decent old whack there as Lattanzio goes through, and Hurley did so too. So Ingersoll has dropped down into P14 for now. Now the car to watch, Andrew Lawrenson. So he's going to resume his hostilities with Peter Wall. They're back down in 6th and 7th. Music Racer, I've been watching quite a few videos on the current tyres, trying to understand my issues with ACC. A lot of people suspect they've changed how the tyres react to their maximum slip angles. Yeah, right. I saw an interesting video the other day, iRacing, where drivers are apparently turning down in-game like engine noise and turning the tyre noise up so you can get a better idea. Oh yeah, that's Bridges. That's with a big hit. That is out of Blanchimont there. That's a very fast part of the track as we go to the replay and have a look. He's just gotten on. He was already on the AstroTurf, and then he's lost it on the entry, and that's a decent old whack. So I'd expect to see him make his way into the pits relatively quickly. He does, given where he was in proximity, and Ingersoll has done the same thing as well. So James Bridgens having it a little bit harder than what he had it last time out. Took out the class victory. right now finds himself in P18th, which is last in the field. As we're riding with Hayes, now he started in P8, so he finds himself in P10. And of the top 10, 6 drivers have actually dropped spots. Neil Fakeney stayed where he is, and the top 3, Ricker, Russell and Frost, have all gained positions at almost half an hour into this one. So time really flying by as Lawrenson gets the job done on Peter Wall. Let's see how that came about. Nice move down the inside. I had to pull that up very nicely and manages to not make any contact there, and he gets the job done nice and clean. So Andrew Lawrenson moves up into P6. He's 13 seconds behind Terry Rayton, currently in P5, who last lap around lapped in a 28.4. So fastest lap of the race is a 26.1 that belongs to him. And track still at damp. Still see that rain coming down. 18 degrees air and track temperature. And Bridgens, just for those following along at home, he's still in the pits after that hit at after Blanchimont. Apparently it's a combination of slip angles and the way ACC implements throttle and torque curves that allowing the 0 TC thing at the moment. Yeah, right, okay. You're all over it, Adrian Rice. You're a fountain of knowledge. Love it. As we're watching Fakeney, he's got Hayes and Wally Masterson. So Wally Masterson is currently leading the AM drivers. Herbertron and Bridgens are the other two, and they're 16th and 17th with Bridgens in the pits right now. So Wally Masterson doing a fine job of putting that Ferrari at the front of the AM standings. Mitch Hayes, though, looking to take a position away from Neil Fakeney and the silver drivers. Peter Wall is... Oh, no! That's at Blanchimont as well. So that's very similar to what happened to Bridgens. Let's see how this came about. We saw Bridgens on the AstroTurf early on the exit there. Yeah, there you go. And then that's exactly what happened to Bridgens. Yeah, he went a little bit later, though. So that's a bit closer to the bus stop chicane. And Matt Frost is making his way into the pits as we come back to live pictures. So, big mistake. He was running in a podium position, and Pierre Reid has decided to pit as well. That might be a little bit sneaky strategy. Stop, go for speeding in the pit lane. That is Bridgens. So, his race goes from bad to worse. So, not only is he down there in plumb last, but he is also... is a stop go penalty next to his name. Trying to understand why I suck so badly at ACC currently. Mate, you're not the only one, believe me. But credit to you for trying to work it out, though. Persistence overcomes resistance. Anyway, Mitch Hayes, he's trying to lessen the resistance of Neil Fakeney. Ricker is leading this one by 6.8 seconds. Russell in second there. Rayton in third, so he's 50 seconds behind. As Ricker, oh, it's another one. This is just out of campus. That's Paul Russell coming through. Oi! That was a little bit sketchy there for a second. Let's just see how this came about. Oh, does he just get on the gas? Oh, he got on the that AstroTurf, and he's kept it off the wall though, so he's not hit anything or anyone. As far as I know, Paul Russell coming through. good evasive action there from Max Ricker. It looked a little bit more sketchy in real time than it did on the replay. So nice driving from him to act very quickly and get out of the way straight away. And I was just about to say the field is relatively strung out. We've only got 17, so we've lost one. But when you've only got 17, this is a circuit where, due to its length, you can really get the field quite strung out. So you start to get big gaps opening up, which doesn't necessarily give us the most favourable of racing. And we're already 33 minutes into this one, so time absolutely flying. Hildebrand, he's having a little bit of trouble through campus as well. Let's see what happened to him. That's coming out of Pouon. And just by himself there, just the back wanting to flip around, and he did a good job there of keeping that facing the right way. So the 111 Aston Martin continues on its merry way in P6 right now. That's where he started. He is 5.4 seconds down the road from Peter Wall, who's the highest of the silver runners. The silver podium right now is Peter Wall, Hildebrand and Fakeney. That's in positions 5, 6 and 7. So we're watching Masterson and Hayes, as mentioned. Masterson, he's the leader of the AM. So just having a look at the field, there's I think 4 cars that have started, are where they started. Lawrenson started 4th, Hildebrand started 6th, Hayes started 8th, and Herbitron started 14th. And that's where they all are on the circuit right now, 35 minutes into this one. As we're watching Masterson and Hayes. It's Ferrari in 7th, 8th and 9th right now. And there's a Porsche leading the way over a McLaren and an Audi. So 3 different manufacturers in the top 3, which you'd love to see. And we're not necessarily getting that Macafest as of yet. Only 3 of them are in the top 10 right now. So the rain being a bit of an equaliser at this stage of proceedings, as Masterson hunting down Mitch Hayes right now. Oh, look at that synchronised. Let's go and see that again from the helicopter cam. There's almost synchronised there between Hayes and Masterson. Watch this. So make through Brazils, and this is turn 11. Watch this. Look at this. Hey, almost synchronized drifting there from those two, and they swapped positions. So Masterson has managed to get past Hayes. So nice move by the AM driver, putting a move on one of the pro drivers, Hayes. So relegates him down into 9th, and Masterson up into 8th. So he's gained 3 positions since he started in P11. 36 minutes ago. So these are the 2 closest cars on circuit right now. Paul Russell is our race leader. His last lap was a 2:31.755. Max Ricker, who's sitting 6.7 seconds down the road, he has got he did a 2:31.1. Terry Rayton, who's 38 seconds behind Max Ricker, he did a 2:28.395, and Lawrenson was the other driver to drop into the 28.3s as well. The only 2 drivers to do so in the entire field. So those guys have got a pretty good pace going early on, but the only problem is that they're a combined 56 seconds behind Paul Russell, our race leader right now, and 37 seconds down the road from Max Ricker. So plenty of time to make up as the rain continues to fall. Track remains damp conditions, and yeah, we haven't seen it go wet as of yet. And the forecast there up the top right hand corner definitely indicating, at least for the next sort of 5 to 15 minutes, we should see rain continue, which this track is relatively synonymous with wet weather. They always talk about it has its own little mini climate around the circuit, and being 7 kilometres in length, that you can have different parts of the track be completely bone dry and be completely wet both at the same time. So I don't think we have that ability to see that sort of weather complexity in the game. It would be amazing if we did, but I don't think that's really possible at this stage. Nonetheless, we're still going to enjoy Mitch Hayes hunting down the Ferrari of Wally Masterson. Last lap around, a 2:31.2 to Masterson, a 32.7 to Hayes. So Hayes not enjoying these conditions as much as the number 37 Ferrari he has in front of him. That's Neil Fakeney just down the road in another Ferrari as well. So 7th, 8th and 9th is occupied by the prancing horse. I wonder if Masterson just got a compromised exit there and was just allowing Hayes to close ever so slightly. As they come through bus stop chicane. That's the thing with wet weather as well. If you haven't practiced, it's all your braking markers that are going to change due to the conditions. Certain parts of the track, when they become wet, you can't see them anymore. So if you're using that as a braking marker, as you often do when the colour of the asphalt changes there at the bus stop, you usually use that as a braking marker. It kind of gets taken away, so you're driving the same circuit, but you're having to find different cues to work your way around if you've not practiced a lot in these wet conditions. Which, if you're like me, you wouldn't have done any wet weather racing and just cross your fingers and hope that it remains dry. But nice little scrap going on, and I think they're making up a little bit of ground on Fakeney, I thought, for a moment there, or maybe I'm just seeing things. Hayes is definitely making up ground on Masterson. Last lap around, Masterson 29.5, Hayes at 29.5 as well, so nothing in it between these two. And the car they're chasing, Neil Fakeney, at 30.7, so it was 1.2 seconds slower. So maybe we'll see that gap start to close up. It's currently sitting at 1.1 seconds between Masterson and Fakeney. In terms of where the race is at right now, Paul Russell continues to lead this one. He's got a 5-second gap over Max Ricker, who lapped a second faster than him on the previous lap. Terry Rayton, 35 seconds adrift there in P3, owner of the fastest lap, and then Lawrenson is 10 seconds behind him. In terms of lap pace, Rayton did a 29 flat, Lawrenson did a 28.2, so 0.8 of a second faster on that previous lap was Andrew Lawrenson. So he's going to have to start making up bigger chunks than that to close down that 10-second gap he currently has between he and P3. And we've got 3 McLarens in the top 5 right now. And a nice little scrap going on between Neil Fakeney now, who's just fallen back into the crosshairs of Wally Masterson. In game time now is at 9:39. I think we started at 8 o'clock. So you can see it is starting to get a little bit darker. And being summer as well, it stays a bit lighter for longer. We'll see the track start to become darker and darker as this one goes on. We've still got just under an hour remaining. So we're not too far away from the halfway mark, which would give us an indication. I'd say we'll start to see some pit stops not too long after that. as Wally Masterson just flashing the nose, letting Fakeney know that he's there. And Hayes, funnily enough, has just drifted a little bit further away from these guys, so he's sort of fallen off the back of Masterson, who's made up plenty of ground on this car you see on screen, the Neon Storm Racing entry of Neil Fakeney. Updated his livery a couple of weeks ago. Just toned it down a little bit for what we see in this version, but still nonetheless very nice looking presented Ferrari with all the sponsors there of the league. Gamesman Racing Team, the Gamesman, Selby, Ignition Controls. Who else was on there? And then the other one would be Pagnian, I think. There you go, Pagnian. One for the sponsors. Gamesman giving away a prize pack as well, which is being communicated via the Discord. So one of our long-time sponsors, Chris from Gamesman, once again contributing, I think, about $800 worth of gear. I think this year they're giving away a what are they giving away? There's a G29, I think. There's some racing gloves in there, Logitech racing gloves. There is, what else was there? Oh yeah, here we go. So we're watching this. I'll just call what's on the screen. That's Latenzio just lurking a little bit larger in the background there. So he's 2.5 seconds off the back of Hayes. And yeah, darkness is starting to take over right now. 9:45 in game time. And looks like Masterson gets it done. Nice work, Wally Masterson. Let's have a look at that again. So did Fakeney just run deep there, or just he went a little bit wide? And yeah, Masterson just got a way better run, way more traction, and was able to just cruise by Masterson in the end. So cruise by Fakeney, sorry, in the end. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, Gold Members prize draw consists of a G29 wheel, an Astro A30 headset, and 10 pairs of Logitech racing gloves for us to use as prizes. Yeah, it's valued about $800 in value. And that's Chris from Gamesman, who is from the Gamesman, who is supplied that for us. Which is awesome. So I think they've been a sponsor for over 10 years now, I think. Yeah, so there'll be more information communicated about how all that's going to be raffled off and all that sort of stuff. It'll be good. I think Neil Fakeney was the beneficiary of one of the draws as well. He was actually running it. It just so happened to come up with his name, which there was certainly. Oh, look at that! Look at Hayes just sliding the rear of that, and Rayton coming into the pits. Let's go on board with Hayes to see if we can pick up on this slide here. And as the track changed conditions, yeah, you can see a nice little save there from Hayes. Oh, another big save. So he had a couple there. Keeping his foot in it the whole time too. So it's still a damp. The track's dropped off a degree of temperature, 17, down from 18. And Terry Rayton, as I mentioned, making his way in the pits. So I wonder if that's scheduled. Yeah, we're not far away from the halfway mark, so perhaps it is. Yeah, we're watching a nice little scrap go on for 6th, 7th, and 8th, and Latenzio trying to get himself inserted into that conversation as well. 1.4 seconds now, the gap. between Ricker and Russell. Last lap around, 31.490. As Hayes just putting the nose up the inside. Oh, Fakeney runs a bit deep. Oh, then Hayes has trouble with that back end, and Latenzio now, he could take 2 spots with one foul swoop as he comes out of Lacombe, down the hill into the right-hander of Bruzels. He's going to have the inside line. He's going to want to edge ahead of the Ferrari here because it's a left-hander for turn 11. And nice work there from Nando Latenzio, who takes up 2 positions, and he jumps from 9th into 7th. Well done, Nando Latenzio. He's in some good form right now. Qualified 4th on Saturday night and had a decent high finish. And that's James Mack. So that's just on the way out of turn 11. Let's see what happens here. That's turn 10. Here's 11. I feel like the track has gotten a lot wetter, but it hasn't necessarily changed in status. And then, yeah, on the on that AstroTurf, does he keep it off the wall? He does. He almost does. Just a glancing blow, so hopefully he hasn't picked up too much damage there. And despite the tricky conditions, we haven't seen too many big accidents, and we still have 17 runners, which is fantastic. One of those is Max Ricker. Track, yeah, not changing to wet. But anyway, he is now less than a second, a half a second in fact, the difference between he and Russell. This is for the race lead. And as you can see, darkness starting to become more and more prominent here as we're not too far away from the halfway mark. And you should start to see more pit stops not too far away from here. Especially for these guys. So drivers that haven't pitted originally, you can see already up there. Russell and Ricker, these two have not made a pit stop as of yet. The rest of the field has. And just judging by the times, I'd say probably a par time would be around about a minute 50, I would say. Anywhere between a minute 50 and a minute 58 by the looks of things, just judging by some of the other times that I can see for pit timers. On board with Max Ricker and James Mack. He's making his way into the pits. That's James Pierre Reid, who, after being in strong contention for the race victory early in the early stages of this one, now finds himself down in 13th position. And been a relatively entertaining race so far as Paul Russell has made his way into the pits. So he's jumped out of the lead into the pits. That means Max Ricker is now in there. And Lawrenson, he pitted, he's almost 42 minutes into his stint. So that's 8 minutes shorter than Ricker and Russell they've done. So we have a look at Mark Hurley, and as you can see, it's getting darker and darker. You don't need me to tell you that. You can see it now. And this is cool. This is very tricky conditions. Very murky. Be on board with Hurley. Seeing a couple of cars are already come unstuck there out of Blanchimont, so has to be on full concentration through that part of the track. Head down the. I can't necessarily say it's the start finish. Well, it kind of is the start finish line. It's where the lap resets. So, but we started down here at the beginning of the race. Russell's still in the pits. 1:37:38 and counting Just keep an eye on him. 45. 47. Looks like, yeah, he's up and racing. So, a 1 minute 49. No? 47. 1 minute 47 was Paul Russell's time. So, while he's been in the pits, he's now coming out in P number 10. And that's 3.7 seconds behind Carlos Dominiak with Herbatron. 6.3 seconds behind him. So not a little bad spot there. Dominiak, as Masterson makes his way into the pits. Well, he's in the pits. Yeah, Dominiak, when did he pick? Carlos Dominiak. Count 48 minutes ago as well. So still have a little bit more fuel in the tank to see him through, I'm sure. Stopped at minute 53 last time. Car was stationary. So Russell, 32 seconds. That was Dominiak. 39 seconds. Right. Will we see a repeat of Donington where the Macca could double stint tyres? Yeah, maybe. I think that's when my internet was playing up. I think I missed that. The majority of that race. That was the night that, yeah, the dramas with the internet, which touch wood have not cropped up ever since. So thanks Aussie Broadband, were very, very helpful helping me out on the night. So hasn't missed a beat since. As Mark Hurley puts a textbook move down the inside of Neil Fakeney and takes away P7. So that's the final podium spot for our silver class. And these two are scrapping over it. And Mark Hurley now occupies P number 7 with 45 minutes and change remaining. Herbatron, he's making his way into the pits. I've got to get back to it. Here we go. So the gap between Ricker and Lawrenson, 28.2 seconds. Ricker lapping 32.3 compared to 28.9. And that rain does not look like it is going anywhere. It's been here for the first half of the race, and right now, at least for the next 15 minutes, well, approximately 15 minutes, we're expecting to see more of it to fall. Just feel for James Pierre Reid as Mac making it a stop. He's not long been in the pits before. He was in the pits only a couple of laps ago. Oh, that's why he's got big damage there at the front. So whatever's happened, I didn't pick it up, but I was going to say he was only just in the pits. Max Ricker is coming into the pits as well. Pardon me. So what was Russell's? A minute 47. So Russell is hunting him down. Neil Fakeney. Oh yeah, that is that Blanchimont, and that's a decent old whack into the tyre barrier there. Let's see how that came about. I have to say these are beautiful pictures though. And definitely not the first car that we've seen that happen to this evening. May not be the last either. So Hayes is in the pits. Ricker is in the pits. We're looking for Russell, who's overtaken Fakeney, who would have been making his way into the pits. And where is Ricker? Ricker's still stationary. Russell. Ricker's going now. Where is Russell? There's Russell. Ricker. Russell. Oh, it's going to be pretty tight. I think Ricker's got him though. Ricker's probably going to have this. Here comes Russell. And there's Ricker on the side there. And he's going to be right on top of him. His tyres will be up to pressure. He'll have more momentum. And Paul Russell, James Mack gets a stop-go penalty. I thought that might have been for Ricker for a second there, but it's not, thankfully. James Mack, he receives that stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So that's his race. Looking very, very not where he wanted it to be, let's say that. But yeah, Ricker though, just outside, just off the rear of Paul Russell right now. Here's Hayes and Fake Nick, they're both in the pits. But this is going to be a good test right now for Paul Russell as darkness continuing to take over. That rain still falling. Track 17 degrees, matching the air temperature. 41 minutes and change remaining in this one, so plenty left of round number 6 for the season. 10 rounds. We're going to finish 1 week before Christmas this year. It's not too far around the corner. Ricker following the Porsche through. So this is essentially a bit of a battle for the lead. Now, here's Ricker's time. Ricker, a minute 46 total, a minute 47 to Paul Russell, and funnily enough, they were both stationary for the same amount of time. So we can confidently say that minute 46 to a minute 47 is the par time, and that would mean if Andrew Lawrence was to pit now, he would come out about 11th. So he's lapping a 29.7 that last lap. What does he do this freshest one? No, he's still got a long way to go. So 2:29.7 was his last lap. Peter Wall, the 30.2, but he's a silver driver, so he's the top of the silver class as well. And we're going to have to just wait for the next round of. We've got a few more still to stop again, I would think. Right now, Max Ricker giving chase to Paul Russell, 7th and 8th, but this is essentially the net race lead. Yeah, and Morrison, because he was a fair chunk of time off it anyway. He was like 30 seconds, 30, 40, 50 seconds, I can't remember, off being anywhere near the front. So Max Ricker will start to think about, I could possibly get 2 race wins in a row. Paul Russell, on the other hand, will be thinking about a possible race victory. He's had 2 seconds, a third and a fourth already this season, so a first is certainly not out of the realms of possibility, judging on his previous performances. And you can see the rain still continuing to fall. You can hear it, but can't necessarily see it with the darkness. This gives a much better indication of exactly how wet it is out there right now. The track has only ever gotten to damp though, so I think it does that sometimes frost. Oh no, where is that? That is, that's Campus again. Let's see what's happened here. And then the left-hander, and that back end just wanted to step out before he even sort of really got going into the corner, and a little touch of the tyre barrier there. So hopefully that doesn't cause too much issue. Just a little bit of a bruised ego, but that's a lot easier to recover from. So he's down there in P11 right now, 22 seconds behind Terry Rayton and 25 seconds in front of Wally Masterson in P12. Uh-oh, what's happened here, Wally Masterson? No, nothing. Oh, he just had a quick little excursion off there. He's okay. Following him through turn 10, Brazils. I think they've got Carlos Dominiak just up ahead of them. Yeah, they do. You can see them both in the background there. Watching from the rear now of the Porsche of Paul Russell. He's had some great liveries, the Monster Energy livery, the Buzz and Hornets livery in the Audi, I think that was him. And now the Kmart livery, which looks fantastic. Throwback to Greg Murphy when he used to race for Kmart Racing. Lap of the Gods. I do like how the side, the number panel on the door lights up. So that's definitely one of the advantages. We do so much we do so much daytime driving. You don't necessarily get to see a lot of the extra little lights and whatnot. Here's Hildebrandt. I wonder if he had a little issue through Eau Rouge. Let's go on board with him on the replay. We'll just see what happens here. Yeah, as mentioned, we got the illumination of the cabin here. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's a decent old save. That was good. That could have gone wrong in a real big way. So, nice work there from the 111 driver. Up there in P3 right now. He pitted Hildebrandt pitted 58.5 minutes ago. So he'll be due for a pit stop in the not too distant future. Neither of these guys are destined for a pit stop. They're just going to scrap it out until the end for the race victory. Max Ricker and Paul Russell. Paul Russell currently P7. And Ricker P8, but the cars ahead of them on circuit will need to pit again at some stage. But a nice little battle brewing here between these two. Have to do on-board shots to just check what the conditions are like. It's a little bit harder to see it from outside of the car. As they make their way through Port Ferret. Last lap, Russell did a 29.7, Ricker a 29.2. So, had the pace advantage on that previous lap. Russell just running a little bit wide on the exit of Blanchimont, but kept his lap valid. Mark Hurley now in the pits, and this yellow Lamborghini up ahead, that belongs to Carlos Dominiak. And that is for race position. So interesting. Maniac, he pitted an hour and 3 minutes ago. So he'll be due for a pit stop in the not too distant future. And Ricker, he had the slipstream as well going on Russell. Now, although Dominiak isn't necessarily racing for the win in this one, he's under absolutely no obligation to give up a position to either of these cars. There's no blue flags waving. And he is entitled to fight as much as he wants, or within the rules, of course. As he loses another spot there to Max Ricker. They were the two faster cars coming through, but nice work from all involved. How's that for a nice interior shot with the lighting going on? So we've gone over an hour already. Terry Rayton manages to get past Pierre Reid. Let's see how that came about. The Audi giving chase. And Pierre Reid just, looks like he almost just gave that up to him. So, did he pit James Pierre Reid as we go back to live images? James Pierre Reid. Oh, hang on. Carlos Dominiak. And a yellow flag next to his name. Yeah, Pierre Reid pitted 37 minutes ago. Chris Hildebrandt just having a little excursion up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Go on board with Ricker. Yeah, that cost him, that invalidated his lap then for Ricker. That McLaren, we definitely know it's got the toe. Official speeds, 264 kilometers top speed compared to 260. Paul Russell. What's happened to Hayes? This is Masterson for company. And nice work there from Mitch Hayes. He takes position number 11. That's from Wally Masterson. Now, this Ricker and Russell battle resumes. They're 20 seconds down the road from Nando Lattanzio. Last lap from him, he lapped it at 2 minute 31.2, which is about half a second slower than Ricker and 2/10 slower than Russell. And yeah, slower than... Oh no, he's about the same as Chris Hildebrandt. While the other two, Lawrenson and Peter Wall, only drivers to lap in the 29s. No, that was also Pierre Reid and Hayes, so a few drivers. 27.7 is the fast time, the last lap. That belongs to Terry Rayton as Chris Hildebrandt coming into the pits. Be glad to have a little break. Terry Russell, more grey hairs, yeah. Well, Paul's doing a fantastic job right now of defending Max Ricker, who is throwing everything at him. And as we say that, he puts a move down the inside into the source. And that was a pretty tidy move. in the end, as we'll follow this action as they go up through Eau Rouge and the top of Raidillon. We know the Porsche doesn't necessarily have the same sort of top speed as the McLaren, so he might find himself in a bit of a disadvantage there. But that was a nice move from Max Ricker, opportunistic, but the execution was perfect, and he now finds himself in P number 4. But those 3 cars ahead, despite the green box that they've got in there indicating that the pit stop has been completed, they will have to complete another stop. When that might happen, it should be relatively soon, I would imagine. Lawrenson's been out there for an hour and 4 minutes. Peter Wall an hour and 9, as has Lattanzio. So they're all approximates, but you'd be expecting at least more than Lattanzio in before Lawrenson. Terry Rayton has been one of the fastest cars on the circuit, the only one to lap in the 27s on the last lap, 27.860. Hayes and Hildebrand swap positions. Let's go to the replay. Oh, that's he's just coming out of the pits there, and Hayes manages to squeak through, so he takes a position away from Chris Hildebrand, finds himself in P11, and we'll go back to live pictures momentarily. We go back to Terry Rayton and have a look at how he's doing, and the track now completely in darkness, so those lights in full effect as Rayton, his braking is in full effect there. Nice move up the inside to take that position away from Carlos Dominiak, who says, I'm just going to pop into the pits now and get my final stop done before I embark on the final 25 minutes or however long it is remaining in this one. Round number 6 for the season, 6 of 10. We'll do 4 more after this. We'll kick it off with Bathurst in a couple of weeks. A more traditional sprint format. Now, go back front. So, last pit stop, Lawrenson total was a minute 58, but we were using Russell and Ricker as the benchmark at minute 46, minute 47. He is going to probably come out around about 10th, I would say, judging by locations on the circuit. Dominiak is still in the pits. Now, the gap between Russell and Ricker is already extending. It's 1.7 seconds it currently sits at right now. And Ricker's tyres are about 5 minutes younger, probably a couple of laps younger than Paul Russell. Yo, Stu Barkley, man, what's going on? How are ya? Ricker on that previous lap, 2:28 flat, to a 30.36 to Russell. So a couple of seconds, 2.3 seconds in fact, the difference in pace time, in lap time. Ricker to Russell. Let's see what they do this one, as you can hear the downshifting on that Porsche. Beautiful sounds. Alright, so Ricker does a 28.4. Paul Russell responds by doing a 28.3. So nice work from Paul Russell. He's not going to be giving this one up without a fight. And the other one is Hildebrandt and Masterson down there in 10th and 11th position right now. We still have 17 cars, which is phenomenal. We're, what are we, an hour and 20 minutes just about into it. So excellent effort, great attrition rate. And yeah, just getting set up for a finish here. So Lawrenson, Wall and Latenzio will all need to pit again. As mentioned, Wall and Latenzio will be in before Lawrenson, I would imagine, judging by their stint timer. But it's 10 seconds the difference between Andrew Lawrenson and Peter Wall. And Nando Latenzio is 35.3 seconds. Really the time that we're wanting to really be more aware of than anything is the pit timer, which we're going off a minute 46, a minute 47 is about the par time. And yeah, right now that would, if Andrew Lawrenson was to enter the pits right now, he would probably come out around about P9, P8, around there. As we go over to Fakeney and Dominiak for 13th and 14th. This is Fakeney sending it down the inside. Yeah, Dominiak fighting back. Fakeney will have the inside line for the source. Oh, what's happened to Pierre Reid? That's just near campus. So we've seen a number of drivers tonight come unstuck through there. It'll be a little bit difficult to see exactly what happened. Oh, that back end. And then he was trying to save it and it's just snapped out. And yeah, unfortunately, that has put a bit of a dent in his race. He's currently P7 right now, 17 seconds adrift of Terry Rayton. And here's Nando Latenzio, so one of the front runners to come into the pits. And this is the gap between Fakeney and Carlos Dominiak at the end of the Kemmel Straight. Fakeney sending it up the inside there. And nice work, he certainly licked the stamp on that one. Past my bedtime, I have to get up early for work tomorrow, but I need to keep watching. That's Heather Russell. Oh, I am very much looking forward to going to bed after this one, believe me. So this is Fakeney. Now, so the gap between Ricker and Russell, you can see it there, 2.7, 2.8 seconds. Last lap around, Ricker did a 27.7. Russell did a 28.5. So Ricker continues to be able to just have the advantage in terms of pace. Nando Latenzio is in the pits. He's been there for a minute 20 now, so he's probably got about 20 odd seconds remaining to complete his stop and get going again. He should be all right, I think. Yeah, I don't think he dropped down much further than the 9th position. Is out here. Who's close? Here's Peter Wall, so one of the race leaders, the silver class leader, making his way into the pits with just under 19 minutes remaining. Yeah, so it's Hildebrandt and Masterson are the two closest cars. They're chasing down Mitch Hayes. Go. He's already at an hour and 12 minutes. Can't think it'd be too much longer. Rain light flashing there. Background. This will make for some nice photos too for the winners. So with Wall being in the pits, that means Ricker now goes through into P2. Russell follows him very shortly, as does Rayton. And Peter Wall will just continue to drop a little bit further as another one has come unstuck here at campus. Let's see. This time it's Mark Hurley, the 177 Red Rebel Racing entry. And he just runs a little bit wide there. So that's pretty tame. That's fine. And then just trying to locate. To be fair, I've not had too much dramas with finding action tonight. As I mentioned, it can sometimes be a characteristic of this circuit for the action to get strung out, and yeah, you're finding yourself trying to fill some time. So yeah, Lawrenson is in the pits. I reckon possibly P8. So he's making his way in now. So he finally pits. That was an hour and 14 minutes. So that was a decent old stint he's just done here. But yeah, I think probably around about P8, P9, somewhere around there. Just keep an eye on that time. He is still yet to make his way to the pit box. Comes through turn 11, Hildebrandt. He is second in the silver class right now, behind Peter Wall, who's up there in 5th outright, leading the class. And Hildebrandt currently sitting in 5th in the championship for silver class as well. He was 23 points behind Mark Hurley, who sits 2 spots behind him. So some positive championship implications for Chris Hildebrandt right now. As Lawrenson comes out, how long was that stop? 1:30. Alright, there you go. So less fuel required. Was able to shorten that stop. And that's Wally Masterson. So that is just at Paul Frere. So that's the sequence of corners at that part of the track at the end of the lap starting to have caused numerous issues for drivers tonight. We've seen plenty of people go around it. That is a decent old whack too from Wally Masterson into the wall, and it could be a lengthy period of time he's in the pits there to get that sorted out. Back to this action here, Masterson on Hurley. Well, Hurley's chasing Masterson, sorry. Not long to go now, 14 minutes to be exact. It's brewing down here as well as I cut away to James Mack, just running a little bit wide there through 16 out of Stavelot. Said that he was 4/10 away. No, Evertron is a couple of tenths away. Herbtron and Dominiak. This is 4th position. And that's James Mack coming through as well as they head down the front straight into the right-hander of LaSource. And Mack will just be happy to bide his time here, I think. A couple of Red Rebel Racing entries. Oh, Paul Russell. What's happened, Paul Russell? Oh, no. I think he's out. I think Russell is out. He's dropped off from my timing screen. I cannot see him anywhere. I saw the yellow light flash, the yellow flag, but he's gone. Paul Russell is out. He's done. You can go to bed, Heather. He is all over for Paul Russell. I saw a yellow flag flash against his name, and then he just disappeared off the timing screen. So, oh no, he isn't. He's down there in 15th. Sorry. He's not. My mistake. Sorry, I'm so tired right now. This is ridiculous. I'm literally falling asleep doing this. Sorry about that, everyone. He's just down there in 15th. Can't go to bed yet, Heather. I wish that I could though. Oh, I really do. This is Masterson and Hurley in 10th and 11th. Hang on. Rain stopped. So the rain has stopped falling. You can hear it. You can hear that it stopped. I'm still not sure about... I think... I'm just trying to work out this Paul Russell thing. I'm just trying to work out if I'm going crazy or not. There's some battle going on between these guys. Hurley and Masterson. Right there at the top of the radio. Frost. Oh dear, where's that? That is at Bruzel's. Yeah, he's coming down the hill here into the right-hander. And what happens? Oh, the back end just flips around on him, and away he goes. A little brush of the Armco, and he'll get back going again. And this is Hayes and Hildebrandt. I think Russell is gone. I can't see him on my screen. Yeah, I think he's out. I think he is done. I can't see him on my timer screen anymore. So probably a disconnection, I would imagine. It's a real shame too, because he was looking to be in it when the Cracks are whipping to take a race victory here. Now this is going to be really interesting in terms of Latanzio and Hayes make a little bit of contact there, and Latanzio is going to have to hold off Hildebrandt. Let's go back and go on board with Latanzio. He was already... Oh, look at that. Big tank slappers. Done really well to hold on to that, Nando Latanzio. And continue on his merry way. He's in 8th position, but for how much longer, we don't know, because Hildebrandt is hunting him down. Now, this change in conditions, it does throw a bit of a cat amongst the pigeons, because it's not really looking... Still, the track's damp right now. All these guys will be on wet tyres. You just don't have enough time to make a pit stop here for some dry tyres. That's Hildebrandt sending it down the inside. Aston on Aston Crime. And Latanzio had to take evasive action there through Lacombe. And Chris Hildebrandt moves up into P8. What's happened here? Carlos Dominiak. Nothing really, so he's okay. Down there in 8th position. Latanzio hunting him down, as we saw with Hildebrandt. Sorry, Dominiak. It's Carlos Dominiak. Sorry, my mistake. Like I said, I'm very, very tired right now. Ollie Masterson and Mark Hurley, 10th and 11th. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well, Adrian, that the track won't dry quick enough for it to make a difference, and I don't think anyone would pit anyway. They'll just deal with the repercussions that will come of it. And it's only 16 degrees track, 16 degrees air temperature. So, yeah, there's an 8-kilometre wind. So, but I don't think it's going to be enough to dry it off to cause any issues in the remaining 7 minutes and 40 seconds of this one. It's Max Ricker. He leads by 4.6 seconds over Terry Rayton. Max Ricker on track here to make it 2 from 2. That would be a phenomenal result for him. Here's Carlos Dominiak. What's happened to him? That's just out of Lecom. Let's see what happened here. Oh, he's just taking a little bit of... Oh, no. He just got a little bit... Oh, right there. You know, that's an odd place to go off. You don't see that happen very often. So Carlos Dominiak down there in 14th position. Now, the gap between this man here and Max Ricker is 4.8 seconds. 5 seconds now. Last lap around, Ricker did a 2 minute 27.6. Terry Rayton did a 2 minute 27.922. So 3/10 faster on that last lap was Max Ricker, as James Mack having a bit of an issue here and does really, really well to keep that off the wall. Let's go and have a look how that came about. See you, Heather. Have a good night. On the outside there on that AstroTurf, we've seen plenty of drivers once they get on that. That is often the result that we see on the screen there, but yeah, he's managed to keep that off the wall. Good work from James Mack down there in 15th position. Having a look at closest cars on the circuit, less than 6 minutes left in this one. Yeah, last lap around, Max Ricker continues his strong pace at 26.7. Compared to Terry Rayton at 27.4, and this time it's Peter Wall who's having a little bit of trouble after Blanchimont as we pick him up here. This might give us a bit more of an indicator of what's happened. Oh, yep, just ran over the edge there and around she went. Alright, we go back to live pictures. Oh, Chris Hildebrand is... yellow flags getting thrown up everywhere. Here we go. So, Paul Russell, crash, full right hand down, then missed the pit entry. So we've had to drive the full track with full right hand down. So teleported had 4 minute rejoin time. So DNF. Yeah, tough race. Yeah, that's some really bad luck. Unfortunately there for Paul Russell. He was looking in such a strong position and definitely threatening to take the race victory. So to come this far will be quite annoying. Here's Latenzio making his way into the pits. It's a very late stop. He pitted in there not that long ago, 15 minutes ago. So I wonder if he's going to try and put some dry tyres on and have a crack out there, see if he can make up a couple of spots. But we'll have to wait to see on that one. It's a pretty bold decision. Fakeney, what's happened to him? This is another one out of Blanchimont. So see if we can pinpoint. Oh, yep, on the curb there. And yeah, that was a lot easier than what we saw before. Where's Herbertron? He's got himself mixed up there in the same spot. Oh, he was a big slide. Yep, so he's almost gone all the way around. And then he's got a car facing him. So getting that sorted out. So we get back to live pictures. And he's back underway. Mark Hurley. 3 minutes remaining. Probably one more lap after this because Max Ricker is only just started his latest lap. 5.4 seconds. Last lap around, Max Ricker a 28.3 to a 28.9 to Terry Rayton. So he holds a significant advantage. And Max Ricker looking extremely likely at this stage to go back-to-back wins, which is a phenomenal way to go into the break. He probably doesn't want to break. He'd want to keep out there being in this kind of form. Here's Dominiak and Herbertron, who we saw having some issues only a minute or so ago. He's got Carlos Dominiak now to try and fend off. And the other two closest cars on track is Hurley and Masterson. So 6 seconds the gap between Ricker and Rayton. 16.6 seconds further back is Lawrenson, and then Wall, the highest of the silver. They're flashing up everywhere in the dying stages of this one. Less than 2 minutes remaining. So we'll definitely get at least one more lap after the one that we're on. What's going on with James Mack here? Not too sure. To be fair though, an hour and 40 minutes has really flown by. The racing's been great. We've only had 2 DNFs. The 16 cars that we have had out on circuit have provided a lot of entertainment, and I've loved the night racing as well. It was just coincidence that we did the night race at Kyalami on Saturday night, and then more night racing here. So it's good stuff. Changing it up a little bit.
Leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
Weather's always a bit of a contentious point, but it did rain for the majority of it. Here is Mark Hurley, and as you would have heard and seen, the leader is on the final lap. So make sure to pick up Max Ricker as he comes across the start-finish line, but it's a little ways away yet. He's only just started his lap, 30 seconds into it. As we're watching Carlos Dominiak and Herbertron have a last little scrap between the two, down in 12th and 13th. 2 into 1 doesn't go at Oru, so one of them had to yield, and it looked like it was Carlos Dominiak. As he makes his way to the end of the Kemmel Straight. Oh, what's happened, Mitch Hayes? Oh, what happened, Herbertron? Let's see what happened here. This is at... oh, that's at the end of the Kemmel. Ah, into Bruce... out of the source. Lacombe. Yeah. Right-handed, yeah. Anyway, Max Ricker is not too far away from doing this, so he's just got a few more corners to make his way through, and right now it is looking like back-to-back race victories will be Max Ricker. I tell you what, that'll do his championship hopes good, because Paul Russell and James Pierre-Reid are both above him, and he's going to finish above both of those and above all of his other championship rivals. So a nice little championship boost in the back pocket for the points. Max Ricker comes through the final turn. He is going to claim victory in the 100-minute Enduro of Spa for Season 3, Round 5. And judging by that, I reckon he's pretty happy, and so he bloody well should be. Great stuff there from Max Ricker. He makes it 2 from 2. A little bit more scrapping going on. Well done, Terry Rayton, flashing the lights as he comes across the line for P3. Andrew Lawrenson making a return after missing the last couple of rounds. He comes home in a very, very solid P3. Congratulations to him. Peter Wall. What's going on? Mark Hurley. Peter Wall, the first of the silver drivers. He is coming home in P4. Congratulations, Peter Wall. He started in third position. James Pierre Reid, one of the final drivers on the lead lap. He is going to come home P5. Not a bad finish. I don't know if he would have been expecting fifth after starting second on the grid, but nonetheless, the top 5 result is still nothing to be sneezed at. And I think that's James Pierre Reid. That's his third fifth out of the last 4 rounds. Mitch Hayes, he crosses the line for 6th position. Matt Frost will take 7th. Well done to him. He started in 10th. Hildebrandt started in 6th. He's going to finish 8th. Wally Masterson, he is looking to finish P9. He started 11th. So the biggest risers and fallers basically was Max Ricker up 4. Matt Frost, he was up 3. This man on screen, Mark Hurley, was up 3. Latanzio was up 4. So some good progress made throughout the field as Hurley and Fakey were the last drivers to finish on the lead lap. But it was this man here, Max Ricker, makes it 2 from 2. Congratulations. Silver, Peter Wall took home the silver class win, and Wally Masterson took home the AM class victory as well. So that is pretty much everything. Hang on a second. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. So as mentioned, we're going to take a little break after this one. This was round number 6. We're going to come back for round number 7 in a couple of weeks in Spa. Not Spa, that's where we just finished. In Bathurst, which will be really exciting. So thank you everyone for joining me. Heather Russell, Music Racer, Adrian Rice was in there. I think I saw Gorilla Snapper in there as well. Stu Barkley popped in too to say hello. Yeah, Gorilla Snapper, and Kid Byes as well. He was in there too. So thank you to all of you for participating in the chat as well. Hope you all enjoyed the stream. Sue Bennett as well at the very beginning there. Yeah, so thank you to anyone else who I might have missed out there too. So as mentioned, we'll be back in a couple of weeks for the Bathurst sprint round. So until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Hope you have a fantastic week. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. My name's Nick. See you in a couple of weeks. Bye bye.